Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Blerd Talk, episode 2. Yes. The second episode of the new year. Very happy to have my boy Jonathan Spencer joining us this week.
Thank you. Happy to be on.
The second episode. Yes. He unfortunately couldn't make it last week, but he's here this week. And so I'm grateful to have him on here. Unfortunately, it's going to be just the two of us this week, but we're going to rock out with what we have. So, John, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
I'm Jonathan Spencer. Um, Born and raised West Philadelphia.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. What else do you want me to say
Um,
about myself?
you could tell them what you're like. Since this is a gaming and pop culture featured podcast, you could talk about like stuff. What kind of game? What kind of game are you? PC, Xbox?
Well, I mean, I I'm a I'm a computer science major, so I've actually been involved in this bit, like game design and things like that. It's kind of a bit of my area of expertise.
Cool. You heard it here
Yeah.
first. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. History right here. Our first game designer of the podcast. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Anything else you want to add? You can talk about like the games, what you like to do. It's nothing too deep.
I don't know. I mean, personally, I very much enjoy co-op gameplay over anything else. Like I love all kinds of games like across the spectrum, but I like co-op elements in games. I like being able to play with my friends to like accomplish a common goal.
Cool.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I'm more of a single player focused guy myself, but I won't. But I can't complain
No,
about.
I have no problem with single player. It's just like I guess I don't enjoy the a lot of competitive games as much. Mainly because like people are just nasty
True. Them.
in them. Like it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what console you're on or whether you're a part of the PC master race like myself. Like people are just mean often online.
True.
Like it's a thing.
True, man. That's why I stay away from multiplayer. I don't play multiplayer games unless it's in
Right.
like I'll do it in sports games because it's just you versus somebody else. It's not you versus like that many people. But even that can be like dense a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like co-op too, but it depends on the game. So,
Yeah, no, it always depends. Yeah.
but yeah, we can get into these topics. I'm Kyron, by the way. I'm your host, added PlayStation gamer. Lean more on the PlayStation side, but I did grow up playing some PC, so I do like PC.
PC's
Sometimes
where
it
it's at.
sports,
Watson
sports,
for the win.
sports games, sci-fi. What else? So I like Mass Effect. Mass Effect all day. Uh, Madden, a lot of 2K, a lot of different games. It depends. I even like.
Nice.
Here's a more controversial game that I like that most people don't like. The Order 1886 was a good game.
What was that?
The Order 1886 is a PlayStation exclusive. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It went the. I'm not trying to spoil the game, but it went the Underworld route. So if you like Underworld, you'll like that game. It's really a good game. So
Nice.
so yeah. But we can get into these topics real quick. So John, I know John was ready to talk about this game where this new trailer just dropped. It was amazing. I'll let him go in on Horizon Zero
Oh,
Dawn. Go ahead.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Um, the trailer looks beautiful. The whole concept of the game seems a little weird to me. Like the trailer, I mean, the trailer was more trying to be cinematic, but the way they had everything play out in the trailer, I feel like that is the level of like graphical quality I'm expecting from the entirety of the game, which is like not unheard of. into like today. Like we have all new types of engines, so we can definitely make it. It's just like that's definitely a high end game, and the average PC probably can't handle it, which kind of sucks. It's okay. I mean, the as far as the concept of the game goes, there's this weird like it's futuristic, but also somehow it seems like very like this weird dystopian tribal vibe to it as well. Like I don't know. I mean, it felt like it was doing there was a lot going on in the game, and so I feel like the elements of the game may not necessarily mesh, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I haven't played the game. I missed my opportunity to play the early. They had like a PlayStation or a PlayStation experience. They let you go hands on with the game. So this is completely from a just trailers perspective. Like the trailers look good. I know this is Gorilla.
No, the trailer looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know this is Gorilla Games. They're known for now. It's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, but they're known. Everybody knows Gorilla as the people who make Killzone. Killzone's really
Hmm.
a good game. If you like that stuff. I mean, I played Shadowfall. It's a good game, but they're not known for doing a story. But I know they hired the person who wrote Fallout New Vegas, John Gonzalez, I think his name is. Um,
Yeah.
so they hired him to write the story, and they hired some people from the people that make The Witcher. What's that developer called? The Witcher Dev. I'll just call it The Witcher Dev until I remember what it's called. The Witcher Dev. They borrowed some people from The Witcher Dev to do the stories as well. So,
Project Red,
but
I think. Project Red, right?
yeah, hold on. Yeah, Project something. CD Project Red. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, you were right. CD Project Red. Well, they didn't borrow. They hired some people from CD Project Red to do the game as well. So the game in the box because it's a sci-fi game, and to me, it seems like I like to call it a mix of Jurassic Park. What did I call it when I first saw that game? I call it Jurassic Park meets Game of Thrones because of the female heroine with red hair and Arrow. Yeah, Game of Thrones,
that's
Jurassic Park, and Arrow. If all
that's a
three
lot going on. That's a lot of that's all over the place.
so, but yeah, so I think the game was good. I mean, like I said, I only see trailers. I haven't played the game. The game doesn't come out until February 28th. So a little over a month from now. Before I'll get hands on with the game. So I'm excited. Like it's a new IP. I definitely think it'll be supported. It has the potential to be the next big PlayStation franchise because Uncharted. They say it went away, but I expect that back with all the money that's making. But
I
it
mean,
has the
no,
potential.
Uncharted is huge, but I don't know if I necessarily expect more from them.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Uncharted or Gorilla?
No, no, Uncharted. I'm sorry, I went off a tangent. Uncharted. I feel like there's not a lot more that's gonna happen with like there's no doubt that they can try, but it just seemed like they've definitely hit their peak. It almost feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can see it as I played the game. Like it definitely feel like they hit a peak. And Naughty Dog's good about ending games. The fans don't think they should end them games, but they're
I
good
mean,
for about 4 or 5
honestly,
games.
like that was my same thought with it. That it should be over.
I don't know, man. They might do. I think though with a movie coming out, like I think they'll do something. They have to do something because Sony's releasing a movie soon. So like I expect
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be a sequel. Maybe they'll go prequel or something where they could have like more of a story and maybe David Francis Drake. Because there is things that you could tell, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll do it. I don't know if you play the game. They can't continue it. It's just like I don't know if they'll. Then you'll have to say where can it be Uncharted without Drake and everything, but they can do it. If if Warner Brothers kept Indiana Jones alive after all this time, surely Naughty Dog can come up with something.
Okay,
I know it's different, but
but it's a little different.
I agree. I agree with you that they did hit their peak with that game, and I am looking forward to The Last of Us or whatever else because they said they have one more game before this generation is over. So, yeah. And with Sony, they keep generations alive for 10 years. So, you know.
That's true, and let's not forget how many games Final Fantasy has. So,
I still have yet to play that game.
honestly, like I've played. I don't even remember which one it was, but I played one of them like forever ago when I was younger, and that's about it.
Yeah. I know my brother's excited for Kingdom Hearts. He's bugging me about it. He's like, are you going to get 2.8? It comes out in 12 days. I'm all like, sure. I guess I'll get 2.8. The funny thing is, like, Final Fantasy fans have been waiting a long time. You know how long Kingdom Hearts fans have been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3? 10,
True. True.
And it's just like they keep like whetting their appetite by being all like with because 2.8 is coming out and it's got like Birth by Sleep and I think another new title that like wraps up. And I'm sitting there like, y'all can just use that effort on Kingdom Hearts. 2.8, you might as well round it up. Like, only thing that's missing in this game, and this is, I have no insiders, so anybody that's listening to this podcast now or later, don't be surprised. I have no inside knowledge of this. I don't know what's going on with Square Enix, but don't be surprised if there's like an early demo of Kingdom Hearts 3 included in that game. Like, I wouldn't put it past them. With as long as you waited for this game, I wouldn't put it past them. Square Enix is
true. That's true.
So I wouldn't put it past them to put it in that game. Yeah, that's my take on Horizon. If you want to add anything,
no, as I've said my piece as far as Horizon goes.
okay.
The thing is,
Go ahead.
like, what's weird is how we're cycling back to this era of like a lot of single player story driven games. Like, I feel like they've always been a thing, you know, but like there was a big push for them, I feel like, between like 2007 ish and 2012, and then suddenly everyone cared about like competitive gaming, and now it seems like everyone's tired of everyone else and they're going back to single player gaming.
Yeah, man, I'm
I
excited.
know there's just like kind of like a trend to it.
I'm excited, man. You know, we were talking before the podcast, or I guess during it as well, about this multiplayer stuff, man. I'm more of a single player gamer myself, unless I'm playing the sports games, and I just started getting into because forever I was playing sports games. Sports gamer here as well. I was playing sports games like they were single player games and just playing the season, the franchise mode, and then bringing my friends over to play me in the game. And then one of my friends was all like, "You're really good at this game. Why don't you play online?" Then I started playing online and stuff. And now it's kind of it's not an addiction, but it's kind of fun. But it also depends on the game. I like playing single player. But I will say some multiplayer games are good. I do like the Destiny multiplayer whenever I get back on that. But yeah.
Oh, Destiny's great. Yeah, Destiny's
Yeah.
a masterpiece.
Yeah. Destiny's a good game. Like, that's supposed to. I can't wait for that to come back out. That'll be the new crack when that comes back out. I remember when it first came out. I ran home from work. I played it. I usually try and go to bed, especially for work, because I have to work at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending on the day. I try and get to bed, but through that game, I was just like, nope, I'm staying up until midnight playing strikes and everything. And I was just like, that was a good game. It was a good game. Anything that can get me to stay up past when I want to stay up must be a good game.
Right?
So yeah, that's my take on it. Let's move on to our next little topic. We're gonna talk scale down. Unfortunately, now both of us are not admitted Xbox gamers, but to those of you that are and listen to this podcast, so we can be equal on both sides. Xbox, unfortunately, Microsoft, I shouldn't say Xbox, Microsoft Studios canceled Scalebound. Those of you who are looking forward to that game and you haven't been paying attention, you've been living under the rocks or living under the oppression of your job. Yes, Scalebound is canceled, unfortunately, for anybody who's looking forward to that game. For those of you that are like, what the heck is Scalebound? Scalebound was that game that was being made by Platinum Games. They're the people who made Bayonetta. And it was a game based on dragons and stuff like that. You were facing people and basically having like dragon fights, dragon riders, and stuff like that. I'm not an Xbox gamer, but it was a game that I was looking forward to on Xbox, and unfortunately, it's no longer there. So, John, you go ahead with your thoughts on that.
Okay, so Scalebound looked very promising. Like JRPGs, they're not on a lot of people's mind a lot of the time, unfortunately. Like they appeal to a specific crowd, and which sucks because a lot of them are honestly great. But like it seemed like they had everything in place. It seemed like they had a powerful concept. They already had gameplay, which means that they had at least a little bit. But like the thing is, what's weird is Platinum didn't even give a reason for why they canceled Scalebound. They just like, yeah, this happened. Sorry, and they never explained to anyone why, and they just left an entire community of people who actually did know about the game and were interested. They kind of just left them hanging, but not even offering like a little bit of an explanation, which really sucks.
Yes, it does. It does. Like they definitely left it out on the wind, and especially until Monday, I thought it was weird because like up until Monday, I didn't hear nothing about that game, and then people are like, "Oh, it's canceled and stuff." And I'm not an Xbox guy, so I'm not like hardcore. I don't go hard and say because I know some people take this console war a little too seriously, even though to me it's over because PlayStation at the recent numbers, John, but PS4 last week, because last week was CES, Consumer Electronics Show, for those of you that don't know the abbreviation.
Yeah.
PlayStation, Sony, it's not a gaming thing, but they release stuff on all their electronics. Sony sold 53.4 million consoles already. And that was last week. Yeah. So, like, and they sold 6.4 off of the holiday alone. So you imagine that they were at like 46 or 47 before Black Friday and Christmas and all that happened. So just off of Christmas alone, they got their 53 mil. So, so like to me, the console war is over. But there were some people going hard saying like, "Oh, Xbox got all the games. 2017 is going to be the year of the Scorpio," which we'll get to in a minute about that one. But this is no knock on any Xbox fans, just y'all extreme Xbox fans. And unfortunately, the game was canceled. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. Like you said, they canceled it without explanation. They left a lot of people in the dark who cared about the game. And it just doesn't.
Yeah. It honestly just it seems like it really does seem like they just didn't feel like putting any more money into it. Because it's not the first time that the Xbox has done stuff like this, where they just don't want to put more money into the game, or they don't have the funds to put more money into it. There was what's it called? Phantom Dust was a game that like Microsoft just had to just got put on the chopping block, and that was 2 years ago. Now it was back in 2015, and there was again no explanation for that other than just no money. So I don't know. It seems like Microsoft is having some funding issues.
Well, they can't admit that. They have
Yeah, but we know.
Microsoft. But I will say that there are reports that um, they are kind of undercutting the Xbox division because the only two divisions of Microsoft, and this is not insider information, this is public information. Um, you can. They said that their new CEO doesn't like the Xbox division, and so is trying to.
Oh wow! So they're just trying to shut
Yeah.
down gaming.
Well, the Microsoft gaming wing, and that's why. That's why
I mean, yeah. So the Xbox is just gonna die.
right. That's why you see that's why their new strategy now is okay. We're going to move from Xbox as a console and move towards Halo, Gears, and Forza as a PC, Xbox, everybody all in one thing. And so because that and the Windows Phone, the new CEO doesn't like. So and obviously rid of the Windows Phone.
The Windows Phone was the greatest worst idea ever.
No, it's true. But do you remember the Zoom? You might not be old enough. Do you remember the Zoom?
Yeah.
Now that was their worst idea.
No, like I had a Windows Phone for a while. It functioned great, to be honest.
Right. I
But like nobody knows how to make apps for it because Microsoft had to be weird and unique about this stuff.
I wouldn't know.
So it was hard for.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because the thing is about smartphones. The mobile community is run by developers. A phone, if there's no apps for the phone.
Right. That's kind of what happened with Sony's phone.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with Sony's phone. They're both failing at diving into the phone market. That's what they both have in common. They both can't get phones right.
Yo, I bet you Nintendo could make a phone.
True.
I bet you Nintendo could make a phone.
True.
Like think about it. They're the kings of mobile gaming.
Yeah.
They have it all.
Right.
Everyone had a DS, and like all editions after it.
True. I'm one of those.
They could totally make a phone. Yeah, no, I had the DS, I had the DS Lite, I had a DSi, and I stopped there because like.
Did you?
I don't know. I just put all of my effort into laptop stuff.
But do you know what? You know what I just thought when you said that? Like, if Nintendo like didn't want to stick, and this is if they didn't want to stick with their idea with the Super Nintendo where it was cartridge gaming,
yeah,
and they decided to go with Sony. Well, Sony didn't exist because Sony just was an offshoot. For those of you that don't know, the PlayStation brand is just an offshoot of Nintendo. Most of those people that make PlayStation came from Nintendo.
Yeah.
But if they would have gone with before PlayStation, Sony's idea of with disc-based software, and they didn't laugh at Sony's idea, they could dominate both markets. Now Nintendo, our friend who's not here right now, Kaylin pointed this out last week that Nintendo's kind of running out of ideas as our generation because our generation kept them afloat because we kept telling our parents, and as we got older, we kept getting their products. Now that we're getting older and we're getting jobs now, we really don't have time for all that mobile gaming stuff. And now you see Nintendo going down. Whereas now that we're getting older, even though most of us did have consoles, our parents made us go outside, so we didn't really spend a lot of time on our consoles. But now that we're older, we only have like 2 or 3 hours in a day, so we're playing consoles. So.
Well, the thing is Nintendo kind of had a target generation.
Right.
And that was us. And half of us stopped playing video games. The other half, that's the ones us, we kept playing. but
Right.
a lot of it stopped, and so then didn't know what to do because you can't really target the older brothers generation and the younger brothers generation because older brothers don't want to play games with their little kid brothers. That's why the generation right before ours hates Pokemon. You ever think about it? Like the dudes in like their like late 20s and early 30s, the ones whose little brothers and sisters were playing Pokemon, you know?
True.
And that's kind of the same thing. And Nintendo, in order for Nintendo to really get popular again, especially with the way everyone's has smart devices now, in order for Nintendo to like keep a foothold, they either have to, in my opinion, start making really mature games, which I don't think they know how to do, or make really really immature games like before. Like they have to make a new Mario.
Right. What I think will happen with them, the Switch, and I don't. For those of you Nintendo fans who listen, and I can't speak for John, but I'm going to speak for him in this case. Both of us used to be Nintendo fans, so we're not hoping that your system fails. I'm not hoping that the Switch fails.
No, I'm very much rooting for the Switch. I saw the trailer and it's running Skyrim. Like what? What?
Yeah, I kind of had that same reaction with the trailer. Like I saw that trailer, and I was all like, "Oh, this joint gonna be corny." And then I saw it not only playing Skyrim, but I saw that joint playing 2K, and I was all like, "What?"
Right, right.
Nintendo got third
Like
party
they're
support.
hitting all the markets, and like they're
I,
hitting games that they don't have any business hitting. Like it's great.
and but if it does, if this is worst case scenario for Nintendo. If it does fail or doesn't do as well as they think it'll do, they can go the Disney route, which is they just start leasing their properties like Mario and Bayonetta and Zelda to developers that they trust. So just kind of like what Disney did with Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man isn't out yet. They gave it to PlayStation, which I still think, I have no information on this. I still think was part of that wink wink deal between like PlayStation, between like Sony and Disney. Like wink wink, we'll let him in the movie. You make our movies better, we get all your games. I think that's
Yeah.
definitely part of the thing. Like, I have no proof of
Well,
that, but I think the proof is in the pudding right now because who's making all of Disney's games? They're in-house developers and
exactly.
devs that are friendly to Sony. So like, it's all in there. But like I said, like I think that will happen with Nintendo. It already is kind of happening because I think one of the founders of Nintendo said like there's gonna be a Mario themed theme park coming out soon. So like it's already happening, and then they're gonna make a movie about Mario and bring him to Universal
I
Theater.
hope not. I
What?
hope not. You remember the last Mario movie?
True.
You remember that? Oh goodness, they
True.
better not make another Mario movie.
They're gonna if the Switch fails, trust me, they're gonna pip it out. They're gonna be Haloing
I
the
I genuinely have difficulty in believing that the Switch can fail. Number of developers and publishers that are supporting the Switch. Like they have so many big name companies and small game companies, like the indie games too. They have everyone. They've got so many companies supporting it, and like what I expect is like within the first year, 2 years of that console's release is just a huge variety of games. And because that's kind of Nintendo's thing, they've always been like, they've always been better at having exclusive games than like other people.
true. I mean, I definitely expect it to do well enough.
I'm gonna buy one.
Yeah, it might be. I might be.
I'm gonna
I definitely.
I'm gonna wait
Right.
until like my birthday, and actually I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna get my parents to buy it for me, but I'm getting one.
I'm definitely gonna buy it. But right now, I gotta get. Right now on my list is I gotta update the laptop, and then after I'm done that, then I gotta save up money for the Pro and PSVR. I'm late, man. The money wasn't talking. I said this on the last podcast. I'll say it again. I'm all about that early adopter life, except when I don't. So I didn't have the money.
And you know what else? I just thought about this. You know what else that the Nintendo Switch is kind of saying?
What?
There's more likely to be more cross-platform gaming.
True. Very true.
That is something I'm very much looking forward to. Like legit, I'm just like, yo, I play Borderlands. I play Borderlands. People want to play Borderlands with me? It's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, what console you got? I got PS4. I'm like, oh darn, you know, because they're on other consoles, and so I have like it's all over the place.
Yeah, man. Like it's gonna be great when crossplay. Well, I think crossplay will really happen. It'll be PC, PS4, and Switch. Because I don't really think Sony. Because right now Sony's winning, and I don't really think Sony will ever let Microsoft have access to the PlayStation ecosystem to crossplay like that. But,
Well,
you know,
the issue with Microsoft is that you have to pay to use their online services,
right,
and so that kind of bridge between the people who own Xbox paying to use their online services and the people who are on PS4 and PC, and they're just, all they need is just to have the internet connection. They don't need to do anything else. I think that I'm not gonna act like I'm an expert on this, but I think that financial setup will make it weird and difficult for Xbox to work with PS4. Although Xbox won't have a problem working with PC, obviously,
right.
because it's all Microsoft. But I feel like you're right. It's definitely going to be a problem for to go from Xbox to PS4 because of that. Even though they're both just even though they're both consoles.
Right. So I think what will happen is you'll have some games where the Street Fighter did this too, where you have crossplay between PC and PS4. There's been a lot more on Sony's side where they're all like, some of these games will have crossplay with PC and PS4, and I think because of the Japanese connection, have it. They'll let Nintendo. They'll definitely do crossplay with the Switch, but the
Yeah,
the Xbox thing, I doubt, just because of like not even just Steam, but just with the rivalry and how like I've seen like people retweet with these Xbox what some of these Xbox execs say about Sony. Ooh, dog! I don't think Sony will ever let them have any kind of access to that. With, with the way
you're right.
executives dog Sony, mm-mm. like
And so basically, the PC is the bridge between the worlds,
right.
and
Although you y'all
I'm
really y'all really,
I,
really
I'm just
listen,
I'm just gonna shamelessly flaunt the master race
right.
the entire podcast.
But y'all don't. Here's the thing. I'll slowly throw some subtle shots in this thing. The thing is, like PC gamers, you get the best of one world where y'all get to have access to Xbox games, but you still have to buy a PlayStation 4 for all the really good.
Yeah. Okay. So like the other issue with PC gaming, and this is always gonna be a problem, is that in order for four friends, or at least this is how it used to be. It's less like that now. At least I've noticed for Xbox gaming. The way it used to be is all it took for four friends to play a game together on Xbox was one copy of the game and four Xbox console, and the TV. That's it. Most households have the TV. You just need the console, 4 games, the 4 controllers in the game. For PC, you need 4 copies of the game, 4 computers, and unless you're playing LAN, 4 stable internet connections, which is like, which is why the PC gaming market, like, even though it's huge and arguably better, it will always have that flaw because of the fact that, like, it takes so much more. And the thing is, though, is what's weird is the Xbox seems to be moving away from that. Like, some of the bigger games that just came out, they don't have split screen anymore. Like, Overwatch had no split screen options. Titanfall 2, that came out like a few months ago, I think. No split screen option. Halo 5, no split screen option. They really limited, like, friends being able to play together with the newer games, which I thought was a bad choice.
I mean, I just think everything, like you touched on it earlier. Everything, it seems like, is moving back to history repeating. Like,
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
and this will be the only shot I'll take this podcast at our future new president in 8 days. Everything is kind of moving back. You see it in our president, in our future president. You see it in the way our games are moving. You see it in the way TV shows are moving now. Everything is kind of moving back to that single, more conservative view now. Like, except for the games. Games are always push the button and so on. But
Yeah, no, you're right. But I think we need to be honest with us.
oh, you there?
This is not the only.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there's something happening with John. John, you there? Oh. But there he is. There he is. I hear you now. Oh, you still botting. PC Master Race, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
At the president.
There he is. There you are. You kind of cut off. So, you're still botting a little bit, man. Something up with your mic. He'll be back. Yeah, rocking out by myself till he come back. We'll get back to the PC and how everything's moving back with the president. But in breaking news, for those of you that are paying attention, I'm rocking out by myself here until John gets back. But Peter Dinklage will be in Infinity War. He's going to be whatever. We can go through theories with the fellas. When John comes back in here, I'll talk about that with him. But I think that Infinity War just got a lot more interesting. You had the casting, everybody's coming together in this one as they fight Thanos. Spoiler alert for those people who haven't been watching the movie. Infinity War deals with Thanos and his arrival on Earth and everything else. So Peter Dinklage is said to be cast in a new role. So hopefully, I'll just go with my own personal prediction since I'm by myself right now. I think he's gonna end up being the Watcher, Uatu the Watcher, Uatu. There you go, the Watcher. I definitely think he's gonna be because they're going more with an interstellar feel in this movie, where all the worlds are gonna come together. So I definitely think he's going to be, the Watcher, Uatu. And that's kind of how I feel. I mean, you have the Guardians of the Galaxy available. Now they're going to be in the movie. Spider-Man's confirmed to appear. Tom Holland's going to reprise his role in the new movie. You're going to have Black Panther. You're basically going to have all the people coming together now. So I think that should be a nice little movie and a nice little thing with him coming around and coming back. So I definitely feel like it's gonna be a good little movie when it finally comes out. So we'll see. You'll have to wait a little while for that movie. I don't think it's expected to hit theaters until 2019. So definitely when that movie comes back, well, we'll have something. We'll have something to talk about. But until then, we have Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, and other movies to look forward to. So I definitely, like I said, this is our gaming and pop culture center podcast. So we'll definitely have a lot to talk about on that front. So definitely look forward to that. Um, Next thing I want to talk about is the Switch reveal. We're a little early on the Switch reveal. We kind of talked about that with the Switch. The Switch will be revealed tonight at 9:30. The Nintendo's on that international time, so you will see that soon-ish. You'll see that soonish. With them coming out on that, so definitely that'll be a good little thing to check out as well. So definitely check that out. I mean, I don't really have any predictions. I know they said it'll come out and it'll probably be 350. So that'll be good for people who are looking to get a Switch. I know John was definitely looking at the Switch. So for those people who like the Switch, that's gonna be a good little price, probably at 350. So I definitely look forward to that when it comes out and when it gets revealed. So maybe one time soon, and next week we'll talk about it with the fellas. And like I said, that's coming out very soon. The Switch will be on. So in another hour and a half is 8:43. So another couple of minutes, 8:43 Eastern time. It'll be on and popping for with the Switch, and everybody will be excited. Like we said, third party support, more mobile focused games. Developers are supporting it. You have EA, Square Enix. Who else I see support that game? Ubisoft is supporting it. A bunch of people supporting that game. So it should. So it should be a good little thing. Uh, ooh, looks like I'll be. Fortunately, John's. Those of you that are wondering what happened to my colleague, John. Looks like John's internet at his college, because he's a college student, went down. Hopefully he will join. He will join back up. But if he can't, we can rock out. We'll rock out a minute. Oh, he'll be back in a second. So I'll just keep on talking. My favorite thing to do. Yeah, So the Switch will definitely be good for all you Nintendo fans. Like I said, I'm not hoping it'll fail in any way. I hope that it does well. Definitely, I definitely hope to get one eventually, but I have a few things that are more top of my list than the Switch. So it's definitely on my list though to get. On top of that, like I said, I just want to retread back on the Xbox discussion. Um, Unfortunately, they canceled Scalebound as well. But on the Sony side, Sony closed Gorilla Cambridge. For those of you that don't know who Gorilla Cambridge is, it's not Gorilla, the people that are making Horizon Zero Dawn. They're unaffected. Gorilla Cambridge were the people who made Riggs. For those of you who are VR fans, Riggs was the robot sports kind of game, more competitive game that they made for PlayStation VR. It's something that I definitely want to get. So like it's a good little game. It's unfortunate that people have lost their jobs and Sony may lose talent. but it was a good game. They also made Medieval. They also made Killzone Mercenary, and the rumor was that now that the VR game was finished, that Gorilla Cambridge would move on and make and finish up and not finish up, but continue Killzone. But obviously, those rumors turned out not to be true, as the studio was closed this afternoon. Unfortunately, by Sony, that is the second European studio that Sony has closed, because they closed Evolution Studios, the people that made Drive Club as well. So they're looking at restructuring, and Sony has come out and said that this is a part of their restructuring with the European market so far. All the devs that they have closed have been foreign devs, based in international devs, I should say, based in Europe. They closed Evolution, which was a London studio, if I'm not mistaken, and then they closed down Gorilla Cambridge, which is based in Cambridge, England. So, so it looks like so far Sony's closed down 2 studios. Microsoft has canceled 2 games. John brought up Phantom Dust, and it seems like this generation has become a lot more competitive. So it's definitely a thing when it comes to this. So definitely look at it and look forward to what's going on. Support your games, no matter what. Support games. Um, Shouts out to gamers who play games. Definitely look forward and play your games, man. Don't let nobody talk you out of gaming. Don't do anything of the sort, anything of the sort, man. Just play your games. Um, Definitely just play the games. um, yeah, so you have that going on. Well, let me see. Let me cover. Oh, the Fiesta Bowl. Yes, for those of you that are sports fans, me. There was a thing that happened this week, or not this week, a couple weeks ago. The Fiesta Bowl, that happened during New Year's Eve. Is something that you might have not noticed. It used to be the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, but then it became the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. So the question is, guys, do you think that is a trend, or is this something more? To me, I think it's something more. I think it's not just Sony saying, yes, with the PlayStation 4 is selling like pancakes, or selling like hotcakes. My bad. Sorry for butchering that saying. The PlayStation 4 is selling like hotcakes, and so now they have more capital and they can afford to advertise the PlayStation. Me, I don't think my opinion of it is this. I don't think if you're Sony, you put money and spend money to put your name as a sponsor, as the lead sponsor on a bowl game. You call it the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. It could have easily been called the Sony Fiesta Bowl, but it was called the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. And that says to me that Sony is looking to brand itself as the PlayStation company and associate all of its products with the PlayStation, because those who don't know, PlayStation is one of the top things that Sony is known for. It's a large electronics companies. They're known for their cameras, their image sensors, which are in your Samsung and iPhones, and all the people that make your phone cameras very, very good. No matter what phone you have, that's Sony. So they have a very popular Sony. They have a very popular imaging thing, TVs, everything else. Uh, you know. So you definitely have different things going on where you have that going on. And so to me, I think it's definitely a bigger festival, bigger type thing now, because you have Sony saying like, all right, it's not going to be the Sony Fiesta Bowl, it's going to be the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. I think that's something big. Now Sony hasn't done that. They haven't put a PlayStation. The only other time they did that was they changed the theater name. They bought the rights to the theater. They didn't buy the theater. They bought the naming rights to the theater in New York, where they changed it from the Best Buy theater to the PlayStation theater. So they've only really done that twice. Put the name on the phone. I mean, on their thing, the PlayStation name on something, on a building, or on something that you could see. And so during the Fiesta Bowl, they advertised their big games for 2017, like Horizon, Neo and all these different games that were coming out. And so you have all that, and to me, that says to me that Sony is looking to just take over the living room, not just your space, but as everything else. So I think that this is definitely a thing. This is something that Sony is going to keep doing as long as the PlayStation brand is viable. So I definitely think it's something more. I definitely think you'll see PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. I don't know how long their contract is with the NCAA for how long they'll stay the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Um, they'll probably stay there for a while. But I definitely look forward to more of that. I think Microsoft will definitely do the same thing. They'll probably put Xbox on something. I know they have the commercials and everything, but Sony has really been on their game this generation with advertising and namesakes and everything else that they've been doing. So you really can't fault Sony for what they're doing right now. They're really just taking advantage, and that's kind of what's going on. I'm kind of running out of topics here, but you have definitely that's definitely a big thing that I think is definitely gonna happen and it's gonna improve the thing. So I definitely look forward to what's gonna happen with Sony, how Sony doing what they're doing is gonna help Microsoft step up with their advertising of the Scorpio and everything. And on that topic, on the Scorpio topic, some people have been saying that 2017 will be the year of the Scorpio. Now, let me say this: I am not an Xbox guy or an Xbox gamer, but I definitely will say this. You can't. New hardware is great. New technology is great. Everybody loves new technology. But new technology is nothing without the software to carry it. So when Microsoft has become known for this generation, the previous generation of Xbox, was their three big mainstays: the Halo, the Gears, and the Forza. And all three are really not really doing well this generation. Where you have Halo, this might be the worst selling Halo of the series. It's definitely the trend continued with Gears. It was the worst selling Gears of the series, and the new Forza did better than the previous installment, but still not enough where you can think that it's viable. It's viable. So you have different things going on with that, and so Microsoft is kind of in a lose-lose situation where you have different things going on. You can't really justify it's still being the same way. So like I said, I definitely hope that Microsoft gets it together because competition is good for the industry. And Sony and Microsoft are at their best when they're both challenging each other, not when it's a blowout. So I definitely, for those of you that are interested in Scorpio, go ahead and get your new Xbox. Like I hope it's everything you desire to be. But I just want to say that to me, and maybe this is because I have an old school mentality, even though I'm in my 20s. Is that like I show me something that'll make me want your product, because your product is nothing without the apps, without the things to back up why I should have it, without the games. In this case, without the games, Xbox really doesn't have anything. And some of their games, like I was interested in Scale Bound was canceled. I was interested in Quantum Break. Quantum Break really didn't sell well. And so I'm led to think that, not even one of my friends who's diehard Xbox, he didn't even get Quantum Break because, his friends told him just don't get it. It's not a good game. So, like it seems like every game that I'm interested in, I either don't hear anything from or it's just so bad there's nothing to talk about. And that's not a knock on anybody. Anybody Xbox is just that there's no the only other game I'm looking forward to, which I hope they don't cancel, is Cuphead. And Cuphead, like Scalebound, I haven't heard anything about Cuphead. I know some people, especially there's a lot of people on this podcast, who definitely love Cuphead and can't wait to see Cuphead and want to see Cuphead. But it's hard to see Cuphead when you don't have it. So I definitely hope that Scorpio comes out. It's a rousing success. It helps the Xbox get its act together and Microsoft, maybe they'll put money into a final generation or something. So I definitely hope that it does well, but it's not looking good right now for unfortunately. And I definitely hope that it can do well, but it's hard to see it doing well when you know that the Xbox only really does 3 games well. They're not even doing those 3 games well this generation. For some reason, people aren't buying them. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's other things. Who knows? So you have this different things going on with these things that you can't really justify. And I really do hope that Scorpio does well. Even though I am a PlayStation gamer, I'm for healthy competition on each side. And another thing that's going to be interesting is Sony now has used up all their cards. I know we're focusing more on the gaming than the pop culture. I'll definitely look to rectify that in a few minutes. Hold on. But like the gaming as far as Sony's done released PSVR. They've released PS4 Pro and PS4 Slim, the more slimmer PS4 as they're calling it, and they're at 53 million right now. And to Sony, one of the Sony fans, like it's a PlayStation fans, and the Sony fans in general, now it's time. Even Sony said like now 2017 is going to be the year of the software. So Sony has a lot of software coming out, starting with this month, the Yakuza 0. The people that like JRPGs, get that right. JRPGs, Yakuza's coming out. So I know a lot of people. I know there's some people in my circle that love that game. So I'm definitely looking forward to that game. Kingdom Hearts 2.8 comes out in another few days. So that'll be a good game for people. I know there's Nier Automata, I think, comes out soon. That's a platinum game. That's a PlayStation exclusive. Well, you have a lot of games. So 2017 is the year, I think, is the year for PlayStation to have some games come out. And I'm excited for Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to MLB The Show. I'm looking forward to a lot. Mass Effect. I said on the previous podcast, I can't wait for Mass Effect Andromeda. Like I am so excited for that game. Mass Effect Andromeda, MLB The Show, Neo. There's so many games coming out on both sides. There's multiplayer, on the exclusive side. Seems like this year, and as it's been for many years, it's PlayStation all the way this year as far as exclusives and everything. But Xbox will have its hits. Hopefully, the games keep coming out. But it's kind of hard to say that like something is wrong with the Xbox division when you're seeing games get canceled and everything, and they're just not talking about games. And I really do hope that they come out with games. Um, Getting off of gaming real quick to talk about a different kind of game. We're gonna talk Game of Thrones because I'm by myself and I can talk about what I want to talk about. Probably Game of Thrones. Now I think, one of the biggest Game of Thrones fans on this podcast. A lot of the other fellas and girls won't talk about this. Spencer seems like will be here momentarily. So hopefully he can come on in here as well and talk more about a gaming side. But until then, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. TV show, books, everything. And I'm really looking forward to this new season as they start wrapping things up. Before I really get into the TV show, for you book readers, George R. Martin came out this week and said that he thinks The Winds of Winter, second to last book, will be out by the end of the year. So you have some hope now for the end of 2017. The end of the year, it seems like we might have a new book coming out. So get excited about that. So now going along with that, Game of Thrones is in the midst of shooting their season 7. I think they'll be shooting until like late February, early March, and so the season won't come out until late June, early July. I'm looking forward to the new season because winter is finally here, and while it may not be here in the real world, depending on where you're at, 'cause I know over here on the East Coast, this week it was like 60. It was today. It was 60 degrees, and a lot of people walking around here jackets and skull caps. They were walking around here short sleeves, light jackets, and everything. But winter, as far as in Westeros, winter is here. The White Walkers, others in the books are on their way, and it seems like things are finally headed down a path where things are finally coming to their finality. And so you have the Starks coming together, King of the North. Those of you that are watching this and haven't seen season 6, I apologize in advance for the spoilers. The Starks are together. Jon Snow, Jon Stark Targaryen is king in the north. You have Sansa ruling as kind of queen. They're setting up that sibling rivalry. Arya is on her way back. Bran has to get to the wall. So many things are happening in Game of Thrones. It's so great to see. And I wish I had somebody on here to talk Game of Thrones with that I can rock out by myself. Game of Thrones is just like it's one of the great shows on television right now. I mean, really, there's nothing to me over Game of Thrones. I know some people say Walking Dead's a better show. And to you, I say, what kind of TV are you watching? Game of Thrones is one of the best shows on the planet. But like the way the story is told, and you're gonna have possibly the battle of the three queens, which will probably end up being what happens in season 7 and probably the early part of season 8 before they deal with the ice zombies, the White Walkers. I know a lot of people hate saying ice zombies, but the White Walkers, and I think it'll definitely be a good next 2 seasons. Unfortunately, because unfortunately, Game of Thrones will end next year probably. And so it's interesting how they're setting that up. I know they said there might be a prequel. Holding on rough for that one. But there could be a prequel, so they might keep you coming back for Game of Thrones. But it's just very interesting what's going on with that. The Golden Globes just happened. You had Meryl Streep's speech, which really got under our president-elect's skin, Donald Trump, when she talked about how he should, basically in her speech, she was just saying how he should grow up and, act presidential instead of bullying people, bullying press members, shutting people down in the court. I know some people may like that, but to me, as somebody who's a president-elect, you got to start acting presidential now. You got to start acting with respect to one of the highest offices in the land or in the world. Actually, as president of the United States, one of the most powerful positions in the world, and so you need to act like you're the president, not that you're this rich guy who can do what he wants, which is he is very rich, but he needs to act his position and stop worrying about what people in L.A. winning Golden Globe Golden Globe awards think about him. He needs to stop being such a child about this and be the president. Wake up. Be the president of the United States. That's what you are, Donald. Be the president, man. Be the president. Stop bullying people. Stop calling people fake news because they report on a Russian dossier that they have on you and how you may have been, prepared by the Russians to be the new president. And like I said, if I say this about that, like, who knows if it's true or not, but there are certain things you can do to acquiesce there. Be president. Don't worry about it. Say it. Stop being so soft on Russia. If the intelligence community has presented you evidence, you and current President Barack Obama, you have the evidence. Barack Obama obviously believes that the Russians hacked it. Russians hacked the election somehow. Stop. If you believe it, stop being so soft. Stop admiring dictators, man. Stop it. I know that's part of our history as a country. We like dictators that are more geared to the United States and everything. But stop Stop worshiping Putin, man. Be president, man. Act like you represent the couple billion people that live in this country, man. Stop being so soft, man. People talk about you. You are the president. That's what happens when you're a public figure. You should be used to people talking about you, Donald. Come back, Mr. Trump, and just be president, man. Get rid of the Twitter. Oh, John's back. Just get rid of the Twitter. Get rid of everything else.
Exactly.
What's up, man? Get rid of the Twitter. Get rid of everything else. Uh, John, I talked while you were gone. I talked Game of Thrones, uh, gaming on Xbox, PlayStation sponsoring the Fiesta Bowl. I know you were on Donald Trump, so you can go ahead and finish your thought. John, I guess not. So yeah, so grow up, President Trump. Like I need you to grow up. Um, you are the president of the United States. Grow up, man. Just grow up. Um, yeah. So the Golden Globes happened. Moonlight won a Golden Globe. Meryl Streep won a Golden Globe. Just try to cover, just keeping it equal here with the pop culture and the gaming. uh, Definitely, like the Golden Globes was a good little thing. I was a little bit upset that Denzel didn't win his category and they gave it to Ben Affleck's brother Casey. But it is what it is. I can't win them all. And it's just this is where we are now. And the things like we have a president who obviously cares about what everybody is saying about him, and this is going to be the next 4 years in this country, man. People saying something about him responding. This is literally going to be the next 4 years, I guess. And it's kind of going to be a creepy situation with him talking about everybody like this. Like, he is the president, but he's not acting presidential. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to say that, we have a president that's not really acting presidential. But yeah. Oh, Steph Curry John will probably fully get back in here in a minute. But Steph Curry made an appearance on Family Guy. I kind of missed that before the Sports Center. I saw it on Sports Center before they reported on it. But yeah, Steph Curry made it into Family Guy. Mama, he made it. He made it into Family Guy. Hold on, let me go. John, you there? Nope. Still rocking out, brothers. Yeah, so he made it in the Family Guy. Family Guy is still going strong. Something we talked about last podcast. To give you an update, if you're a Girl Meets Worlds fan, it seems like the news writers, Caleb, oh, there you go.
Okay, I am so sorry.
Well,
There was a fire alarm in my building where I was set up, and that took a bunch of time. And I don't know who pulled that fire alarm or what happened, and I'm thoroughly upset with my school at the moment, and I apologize. What have I missed?
I talked Game of Thrones. Talked about Meryl Streep and Donald Trump. Talked PlayStation and their sponsoring of the Fiesta Bowl, and if that was a trend or not. As far as you were concerned, you were on Donald Trump, so you probably came in on one of the better times. I just talked about how Donald Trump needs to grow up and stop worrying about what people like Meryl Streep think about him.
I mean, okay, so I actually shared a Facebook post earlier today that I thought was like right on the money on this. Thought it was hilarious. Someone had it was I forget who it was, but he said if famous people can constantly mess with Trump and stuff for the next for the rest of his term, he'll be too busy ranting on Twitter to kill everyone. And it was so funny because like then a different celebrity replied. I think it was J.K. Rowling. She replied, "When a pleasure becomes a duty,"
True.
and I think that's gold.
True, man. It's true, man. You know, he's so focused. I don't think I'm trying to figure out when he has time to do all this. Like, I'm kind of
Like legit though. You're right.
he is 69 years old, right? He's supposed to be president. Um,
Hmm.
and he's supposed to be doing all this stuff. And like, you're 69, so you gotta get your sleep. Like, my parents aren't as old as him, but even they get their sleep. Like,
Right.
and I'm trying to figure out, like, what do you wake up, like, do you have your Twitter set up that every time somebody mentions you, you gotta respond? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just trying to figure out how the Secret Service hasn't shut that Twitter down yet.
Right.
Like, like I don't understand. Like, he'll be doing his own press. Something else he did that I kind of touched on too. That whole, now I was working. You were probably in class. He did his press conference yesterday or the day before yesterday. Uh,
Yeah, that's probably in class. What happened?
yeah, you know, he CNN. Well, you might not know. So John McCain and some other people, Democrats and Republicans, this is the only thing they agree on: the threat of Trump. They got somebody from MI6, British intelligence, to do a dossier on Trump. To find out everything about him, see what they could use, see what they couldn't use. And he stumbled on this thing where he found out that, and this is probably why, now this is unsubstantiated, nobody's been able to substantiate this yet. So take all this with a grain of salt. Um, because I don't want the one Trump fan that listens to this podcast that's randomly searching for podcasts. They might be a game, comics, and movie enthusiast, and they stumble on this podcast and they'll say, "You stupid libtards, what are you doing?" Because that's a new thing now. Combine
True.
liberal and retarded and think that's an insult. um, like, what are you doing? So all this is unsubstantiated, but they found out that Trump, they have a video of Trump, doing his thing with underage women in Russia. That's an allegation. They got video of that. He owes like this company $260 million. I think it's a company called Blackstone, which apparently, if you
Yeah.
owe them money, it's like owing the Russian mob money. So,
Oh, lovely.
that's he owes them money. Um, and because he has all this, Putin decided to use that to his advantage. And the other allegation is that Putin trained him to be president for the last 5 years, specifically to undermine the United States. Take because Obama's been killing them with the sanctions. Take all the sanctions off their oil, back out of the Iran deal, weaken Iran, and basically strengthen Russia. So that's
Yeah.
a little that's basically the most damning parts of the dossier. That's not all of it, but that's the most damning parts. And so you have people saying, "Oh, it's just a lie." You have other people saying this could sink Trump and get him impeached. Now, for those of you that want impeachment of Donald Trump, I just want y'all to understand that I don't live in Indiana, but I have friends that live in Indiana that tell me how much of a comic book movie supervillain Mike Pence is.
You right.
So I just want y'all to understand what y'all gonna get. Y'all gonna get like a supervillain in Mike Pence if anything happened to Donald Trump. But you can go ahead and talk on that if you want. I know you had something to say on Donald Trump. I was trying not to make this, even though it is pop culture and he's a pop culture president. I really was trying to stay away from the shots on Donald Trump, but here we are.
Well, yeah, we should try to stay away from politics because unfortunately at this point it's all kind of moot
All right.
because he is going to be president and there's no way around that at this point. So yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, all that is unsubstantiated for any Trump fans that are in here, because I know some of you are in hiding right now because you're worried about what's going on. I really am trying to stay away from it, but we're here. So yeah, definitely look into this. Do your research. Nobody. I'm not saying it's substantiated. I'm just telling you. I'm just reporting the stuff. So don't come on this spot saying these stupid libtards. They believe everything. Don't do it. Don't come. Don't do it. Your man ain't even in yet. Don't do it. Like I said, we got 8 days, 8 more days of Obama, and then we all get our businessman running the country, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, feel free. I was talking Game of Thrones. I don't know if you're a big Game of Thrones fan. I was
Oh,
just
I'm a
doing it.
huge Game of Thrones fan. I love Game of Thrones.
Okay, good. Finally. But yeah, so I was talking about season 7 and what's going not season. Well, I was talking about season 6. And you might not know this, but George R. Martin. I don't know if you read the books, but he said Winds of Winter might come out by the end of this year. So you can go
He's
ahead.
taking his
Take a
sweet
seat.
behind time.
Huh?
He's taking his sweet. He is taking his sweet behind time writing these books. He's making me mad. Like I've never been more pissed off with a writer for something that wasn't actually in a book.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know some people have been comparing it to Dark Tower and how it took Stephen King 30 years to write a book, but I'm just saying, man, all this time he better be writing part 1, part 2, and part 3. like,
Right?
like if he's doing all this for one book, and I know he's had obligations over the last few years, helping them with the show and everything, and you know,
Yeah.
now we're in the territory where the show's going to be basically because they
Like
already know the ending.
caught up.
They're
It's gonna be like,
yeah. I mean, they already are caught up. But what's going to happen? I think if you don't get these books out, the show's going to spoil the ending. I mean, I already have predictions myself. Amount to the same thing. Like the writers have said, he's already told them who lives and who survives at the end. So
oh wow.
next year we're gonna know what happens. Because the show's over next year. So like we're definitely gonna know what happens. It'll probably be different in the books, but we're gonna know what happens next year. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go. You can talk about Game of Thrones. Like I was just talking about what happened in
I
season
mean,
6. I really
not
want
really much to say. I love the show. I think it's a great show. I don't think it's for everyone, but
to. True. Facts. True. 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 Like if you can't handle, I'm sorry to cut you off, and now I'll let you go. But if you can't handle extreme nudity and extreme violence, depending
well, that's
on the
yeah.
episode, don't watch.
No, there's definitely extreme violence everywhere, but the like nudity thing that's more of like just the first season.
Right. Well, yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But I was also gonna say that some people, like I know, Kalen, we was expecting Kalen gonna come up a lot in this podcast, and he's not even here. But last week he was talking about Game of Thrones. He was saying he didn't get past the second episode with with in the first season with the incest that happened. So depending that's why I said depending on what you can stand, you can watch that show at your own peril. Wow, if you're not a person that likes thinking in all your shows, you like your shows handed to you. It, Game of Thrones ain't one of them shows. You're gonna be guessing to the end. Even if you know the books, you're gonna be guessing. There's been plenty of times throughout that show I've been all like, I read the books, I know what's gonna happen. They even surprised me. I don't know if you had that experience, but it's one thing like the Red Wedding. It was one thing to read about it. It's another thing to see it entirely. Like it really is. But you can go ahead on Game of Thrones.
I mean, I don't feel like I have too much to add with Game of Thrones. It's it's a fantastic show, you know. It's it's got a huge fan base now. There's a fair amount of like just like meme culture related to it too.
Right.
Uh, it's solid. It's a solid piece of entertainment. I don't I don't want to spoil the show much, so I don't really want to talk about it. But the vibe of the show is this very down to earth medieval environment, and the characters and the story is complex. And one thing that's definitely true throughout the show for the majority of the characters is that no one is really evil. You know, like everyone kind of has their favorites, and there are characters that are everyone's favorites, but for the most part, no one throughout the course of the show is like inherently good or bad. Everyone's just kind of fighting for what they believe to be right or for their own kind of agenda.
True. Another thing that's evident throughout the show is the war thing, how wars are bad. I will give the books and the show credit. They do a good job,
Oh, true.
even though the show doesn't really dive into it as much. Um, the books and the show do a great job of showing the after effects of war, and you can really tell how George R. Martin feels about war. So you know,
Yeah.
he's very anti-war. If you can't tell by the books, but he is very anti-war. So I really don't have nothing to add. Like that's the two themes. I'm excited for season
Speaking,
7.
this is kind of the last thing I want to talk about, and then I gotta go.
Right.
This is on the subject of just other movies and TV shows coming out. We have a whole lot of goodness to expect from Marvel.
True.
You know, like it just I don't know popped in my mind because of a certain actor from Game of Thrones. You know, that'll be in the Marvel universe soon.
Again, man. Again, like Dinklage being anywhere makes me. The whole reason, I'll be honest, the whole reason I watched the last two X-Men movies was for Peter Dinklage, and then the last one was for Sophie Turner. I was so amped. Like
Yeah.
in the next X-Men movie, what's her name's gonna be in it? Macy Williams is gonna be in it. So it's just
Oh
like Game
yeah.
of Thrones actors are just like invading comics. So I'm just like put them in everything.
Well, the thing is, they are really good actors. Like Game of Thrones has strong actors, and those actors, thanks to the popularity of Game of Thrones, are gonna have tons of jobs.
True facts. I don't even know if but Marjorie Tyrell really started this because she was in the Hunger Games, and I don't even know if her character lives or dies because that's how much I pay attention to the Hunger Games. But I know she was in it.
Okay, but like to be honest, the Hunger Games was kind of a fad, and it was a fad that died really, really fast.
The Hunger Games. Hey man,
Yeah, like I honestly feel like they just took too long coming out with the Hunger Games movies, and that killed the vibe of like anyone who wanted to see them. And then they had the absolute audacity to split the third Hunger Games movie into two parts. Now, yes, it's for money, but they didn't have to. They
yeah.
really didn't.
But that's kind of our fault because we really did that. I'm not saying us, but our generation really did that with the Harry Potter thing. Now, when they split Harry Potter up, I said from then on they're gonna do this with everything that's based on a book from now on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when they got away with it for Harry Potter, it was the end.
Every movie company was like, you know what? You got a good idea.
Right.
We're gonna
But yeah,
steal theirs.
yeah, but yeah, Marvel's got good things, man. Like I haven't really been paying attention to Agents of
Spider Man. Oh,
Oh my God, Spider Man! Like the way that they just ended the Spider Man, and I was watching it. Like I don't know what happened, but this Spider Man that they just wrapped up, the new one that just wrapped up with Drake Parker as Spider Man, It really
Yeah,
was well. It was like I feel like that was the beginning, and I have no proof of this, but I feel like that was the beginning of the Sony Disney partnership with that show because I think they did a thing that like the Ultimate Spider-Man was like the longest running Spider-Man show because they usually end after 2 seasons because they run out of ideas. But like Spider-Man, that Spider-Man was great, and I guess I'm gonna look for. I'm mad that they canceled it, but I guess they really couldn't
yeah,
go after he graduated Shield Academy. But like, I'm interested to see what they do with the new Spider-Man. I personally, as far as since we're on TV, as far as the Avengers series, I don't really watch Avengers Assemble.
Oh,
I
you mean
like
the? Oh, I thought you were talking about Agents of Shield. Never mind.
uh, Agents of Shield. Agents of Shield is I hear good things about Ghost Rider. So I hear Ghost Rider is good.
See,
I know they're on L&D's. I keep up with it. I just haven't watched it.
the problem that Agents of Shield kind of suffers from is that it's a comic show,
True.
but it's also a spy show,
True.
and that makes and it's a complicated dynamic that it just feels it doesn't quite feel right some of the times.
Right. I also think what kills Agents of Shield is they always have to do episodes that coincide. Like they're the show that suffers the most from sharing the same universe as the movie.
Yeah,
Like
that's the other issue.
Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, all those Netflix shows, they can do what they want, but they do have to stay within the universe, but they don't have the same problems where they have shared characters. Like for real, the official Marvel show out of all these shows would be Agents of Shield because they had Samuel L. Jackson. You know how hard it is to get Samuel L. Jackson on your TV besides for
Right,
shows,
right.
and they put him on there. So like they suffer from that. And like you'll never see like even though Netflix has the money, you'll never see, Samuel Jackson on like a Netflix show. I would hope one day you would, but you'll never see that. And so you have that kind of working against them too. So that's kind of like a double edged sword on them.
Yeah.
But I like what's going on with them. And they have Star Wars Rebels too. That's actually a pretty good show too.
I thought it was a great show. Yeah, I've only seen the first season so far. I plan to binge watch the second one at some point,
Yeah,
like I do with all shows nowadays.
yeah,
But it's like it's really solid, and it's unfortunate because Rebels' existence.
yeah. Rebels is a great show. I've watched it. I'm very interested in what they're doing. I'm gonna stay away from spoilers because you're not up on it yet, but it's a good show.
Well, no, my issue with Disney was they kind of just butchered the previously established expanded universe. But I guess that's just because I'm an older fan of Star Wars and I read the books growing up.
Yeah. True, I did too. I think what I've accepted with Disney is besides Marvel, they don't really try and keep the universes. Like I really don't blame that on Disney. I blame that on them looking at. See, I think the decisions for every Star Wars movie now takes into account the three prequels, which were terrible to me at least. And
Yeah.
so like when they decided to kill off the universe, I think they were just like, you know what, we don't want to be associated with those three prequels. We don't
Well,
want to be.
okay. The Here's the thing about Star Wars prequels, and this is kind of like the last thing I want to talk about because I gotta leave soon.
Uh,
They were not. I don't think, other than Episode 2, they really weren't terrible. Like the first episode, you kind of have the major problem that everyone wants to complain about is like not enough Darth Maul and Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks. Now, like, if you're a real conspiracy theorist and you think that Jar Jar Binks' original intention was to be a Sith Lord, like that's one whole thing. But even if he's not that important to the plot of the movie. Like, I feel like everyone just raged, and then everyone else got on the hype train of everyone else's rage, and so everyone gives crap to Episode 1 when honestly it was a solid film. It had great action scenes. The final like there were like two battles happening. There was a space battle and like and a battle on land too with the Star. Okay, sorry. There's a lightsaber fight happening. There's a battle in space, and there's a blaster war happening in the city of Naboo, and all that's happening at the same time. And that was an intense sequence. Like, that was amazing. Like, I don't like you can't say you didn't enjoy that because everyone who saw it did. And so I don't understand why everyone hates on the movies so much because they definitely had good qualities to all of them. Like and the thing is about episode 3 is it was like episode 3 was honestly the best that it could have been given the circumstances, like, because it's got to wrap up everything from the prequels so that we actually have continuity going into the original A New Hope, which was changed the name to A New Hope, and it also has to like deal with kind of the screw up that Lucas made and like kind of just a poor direction choice, in my opinion, with Anakin and Padme's relationship and really just like all the characters dynamics of that movie.
Yeah, my problem with the prequels, I agree with you. But my main problem with the prequels is the boy that played Anakin. I'm gonna be real. Like, I thought they were okay. They were all okay movies, but especially episode 3, I think he overdid it. I never really. To me, like, I know that it was all like a process, a means to an end. But like you said, they were kind of in.
They should not have made Anakin so young.
Right.
And now the thing is, the characters in the show, Anakin and Padme, are only actually 5 years apart. The issue is they don't look 5 years apart at all, and their name and like their age isn't officially said. Their age isn't officially said in the movies, so it just kind of feels uncomfortable seeing like a teenage girl getting hit on by an elementary school kid, and then suddenly later they look very similar in age. And also, it doesn't really make sense that Anakin falls for Padme and Padme like falls for Anakin when they're older, because all Anakin seems to do other than compliment Padme when she's around is whine all throughout episode 2. So them falling in love, zero sense in the way that movie plays out because all he does is flatter her and complain.
I mean, listen, that character in a nutshell. Like,
I mean, that's true.
I had to,
Anakin was a pain,
I had to go.
but him falling in love is just weird.
Yeah, I had to go to the comics to see how much of a DA that Anakin was. But at the same time, like, I just think that the prequels to me were a mistake. Just I know they had to make it canon because like they needed something to do while Lucas figured out was he gonna make episode 8 or not. And I'm kind of glad Disney bought it because for a while, like, there was nothing. If you remember, because after they canceled Clone Wars, it's speaking of inexplicable cancellations, when they
Oh my
canceled
gosh, right?
Clone Wars,
And Clone
when they
Wars was so successful.
when they canceled Clone Wars and just was all like, too bad. Here's one more episode for you. That's it. Like, Like, speaking
Yeah,
of,
the final season never even aired on TV. It was only on
yeah.
Netflix and
So
like other
like,
third parties.
yeah. So like, they just, and so like, it kind of was kind of like with Marvel. They wasn't doing anything with it, so Disney was all like, "Hey, here's $1 billion. Go away."
Okay, so but here's the thing that kind of bothers me about George Lucas. He sells Lucas Arts and he sells the rights to Star Wars. And Disney says they're going to make another movie. And then suddenly Lucas wants to be involved in the making of another movie. Like there was an interview that he was in that came out soon after Force Awakens came out. And literally it's just Lucas being salty about the fact that no one wanted to listen to his ideas for episode 7. And he basically goes on to say that he got bullied out of making that movie and they didn't include his ideas. And I'm sitting there thinking, you didn't need to sell. Like, if you really wanted to make episode 7, you definitely had the funds to make it yourself. Like,
True.
the thing is, he could have gone anywhere. Like, he had the resources, he has the ideas, people definitely want it. He could have done it on his own. He didn't need to sell out to Disney. And so it doesn't make sense how he gets so upset when like he's like legit angry in this interview, and it doesn't make sense for him to be so upset in this interview because it's his own fault for selling.
Hey man, you gotta dump on Disney when you get a chance, man. I
You're
understand.
right.
I understand, man. I think he's just bad because he gave it away, and now it's like becoming more popular because Disney now has Star Wars and Marvel, and he's seeing how much money he missed out on with a Black Jedi.
Right.
But and now they're doing the young. Oh, before I forget, you were talking about all this goodness. Samurai Jack is coming back this weekend.
Oh yes. Oh yes, indeed.
I
Very
did not
excited
know
for
that
that.
until I saw it on Facebook. I was all like, "What? Samurai Jack is coming back?"
Yes, that is excellent. Is excellent.
My only concern with Samurai Jack coming back is that Cartoon Network is not Cartoon Network anymore. So I'm going to be so upset if they like destroy it like they destroyed Teen Titans. I know they're not going to do it because it's on Adult Swim, but still, Adult Swim sometimes is hit or miss too.
What's weird is that Teen Titans Go acknowledges how bad it was. Like in the canon of the show, they watched the old show and they're legit just like, man, those guys are so much cooler than us. And I'm like, no, really? It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what were you even thinking in the first place?
No, I swear the way Cartoon Network makes decisions now, and to all you Adventure Time fans, I'm about to crap on your show, so I'm gonna tell you in advance. But my roommates back in school, they always will watch it, right? And I used to, and because like I'll be real, when doing school, I really only had time for ESPN, my laptop, and my PlayStation when I had time because you're in college, you run around like a chicken with your head cut off
Right.
before you.
Yeah.
But but like I would watch it, and they were in there, and I'll admit it, they were kind of high, and they would always say, that's the greatest show ever," and I was all like, "Dog, it just seems like the people who made that show and who greenlit it were high when they made that show." And all my friends were like, "Yo, this show is so great." I'm like, "You're high, aren't you?" They're like, "Yeah, just a little bit." I'm like, "Okay." Makes so much more sense. But that's my theory on Cartoon Network shows now. They greenlit shows. And disclaimer: I haven't watched the new Powerpuff Girls. So, but my brother loves. But the thing that kicks my theory out is my brother loves Adventure Time, and he's never high when he watches that show. So that kind of kicks it out. But my brother likes a lot of different things that I don't really like. So I'll just chalk that up to him being different. But like I just can't with
Nah, that's fine. That makes sense.
but like they just be all like they have that, they have the new Powerpuff Girls, which again I don't watch, so I can't judge. But I if it I all I know about this year is at least we get Young Justice. That's all I
True.
know.
True. That's gonna be great.
All I know is I get Young Justice back, and before I was kind of cut off. This is a Kaylin thing. So chalk this one up to Kaylin, not me. Kaylin had us talk about Girl Meets World, and so for you Girl Meets World fans who watch the show, it's another news update. But your show, your kid's favorite show, or your little brother, little sister's favorite show, is has a chance of coming back. The show creators said they're in early talks of renewal with, I guess, with Disney. He didn't really say, but yeah, it's coming back. Now, you may not know this because you probably don't watch it, but Girl Meets World got canceled last week, and people were
Oh
in an
wow.
uproar. People, and by people I mean parents, our generation, young adults, just everybody was in an uproar about Girl Meets World getting canceled. I was just like, all y'all watch Girl Meets World?
Right?
But yeah, so yeah, they were in a little uproar over that. So much of an uproar that Disney's actually thinking about bringing it back now. And you know how unusual it is for Disney to uncancel a show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just gonna be like, welcome to our world. Like I survived when they canceled Sweet Life of Zach and Cody,
Ugh,
but yeah,
true.
so I know you gotta go. So any final thoughts before we close it
Um.
down?
Well, I feel like the thing is, at the start of 2016, this is just kind of was on my mind. At the start of 2016, everyone was like, "This is gonna be a big year in entertainment. We have a lot of big titles. We got a lot of great movies coming out." 2016 ended, and I will say, I was indifferent. Like there was a lot of good things, but there's also a lot of below average things. Like I don't know if you've seen Assassin's Creed, but that was unfortunate.
I haven't, but I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, no, but like 2017, there's a lot of great new content coming out, but it's really important to be wary of the hype because like Marvel's got 3 movies coming out this year, and Marvel generally does good stuff, but Marvel also seems to be able to get away with making not as good quality stuff because it has the name Marvel in it.
True.
But that's all. There's just be wary of hype. And this is coming from someone who is looking forward to No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Yeah, man. 2016, man. 2016 was we're doing years in review, I guess. 2016, yeah, I share your thoughts, man. Yeah, Marvel gets away with a lot of things. The hype, yeah, don't get too caught up in the hype. Do your own research. But I don't know how you could have avoided No Man's Sky, man. That one, that one was kind of just like
Well, the thing is, to be honest, all the signs were there.
yeah.
Like every game trailer was just more of the same stuff.
True. 2016 has good years, man. I tell you, one show that lived up to the hype, and this is coming from somebody that had low expectations, just because it was gonna be because a lot of times Disney doesn't do black characters justice unless your name is Penny Proud. Um, but when they made Luke Cage, whole thing, like
True.
my father and I binge watched that episode from the day it came out to Saturday night. That John lived up to the hype in every way. And I was sitting there like, to me, I was all like, nothing's going to be better than Daredevil season one. And I went in there and I just had low expectations. I was all like, I know it's Disney and Netflix doesn't really put out any bad shows, but they're gonna find a way to butcher this black man and make him the weakest bulletproof black man ever. And I was sitting there like, They actually did it. They had. I felt like the Netflix and Disney said, okay, we gotta do this right. Let's hire the best TV black director we can find, not named
Right?
Daniels, and see what he does. And I was sitting there like, yo, this is so great. Like this is what like Luke Cage is everything black television, all of it should subscribe to. Like Luke Cage had, some people say the story was bad, like it dies in between in the season, doesn't pick back up until like the middle part of it. But like it was good to me, like up and down with the story and everything. Luke Cage was one of the things that lived up to the hype, and also something that I took in 2016 that we kind of talked about already. Like the nostalgia thing is back too, man. Like Samurai Jack, like, ugh, I'm so excited for that, and I didn't even know that was coming out in early 2017. So
Yeah.
I'm just so excited for like everything. I'm excited that Luke Cage got a season 2, and they have the Defenders coming out. Marvel's gonna be great. Star Wars has episode 8, which is gonna like you wasn't here last week, and we kind of touched on this, but I'll let you touch on it too before you get out of here. Is episode 8 is kind of gonna have the Fast and Furious 7 effect because like Leia is dead, and so you know everybody's gonna run out and see episode 8 because it's her last Star Wars movie, and
Yeah.
it's kind of gonna have the Fast and Furious 7 kind of feel to it, where everybody rushed out and saw Fast and Furious 7 because it was Paul Walker's last movie, and then you had See You Again. So all Disney got to do is find somebody to make a See You Again song, Star Wars version, and people that movie like.
John Williams, get on that.
uh,
I said John Williams better get on that.
True. But yeah, like it is amazing. Like it's gonna be a good year. Hopefully, once you get over all the stuff that's gonna happen, all the things that are happening right now, like it's gonna be a good year for entertainment. It seems like we're gonna need distractions this year. So entertainment.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be
It was great talking to you.
it
It
was
was great
great.
talking to you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
I want to be involved more and more of these in the future to come.
All right,
I'm going to sign off now.
all right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. That was the I'm glad that you guys rocked out with us. Thank you so much for being here. That was Blerd Talk episode 2 with Jonathan Spencer and myself, Colin Watson. Definitely make sure that you check us out. Check us out more. As I said, this is our entertainment and pop culture focused podcast. We have a sports one tomorrow at 9:30. Make sure you check that one out. That's our sports podcast called the Crossover Sports Podcast. So definitely check it out. The second episode of 2017 of this new podcast. Let us know your thoughts. Hit me up at Kylan W. Watson on Twitter. That's at KYLAN W, then another W, ATSON. So hit me up with what you think of the podcast, what you like, what you don't like. Maybe you want to be a guest on one of these. Definitely hit us up. Thank you so much for tuning in or tuning in later. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Have a good weekend. Deuces.